Hi, this is Marcel of Marcel on Tech, and this device has been surprisingly good. This is the Lenovo Tab P12, and this is a semi-mid-range tablet that is an absolute behemoth and might well be your next giant tablet. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are talking about the Lenovo Tab P12 Beast. This device is 12.7 inches in length, obviously diagonal. It is a 3K monitor. It has JBL quad speakers, which in fairness are pretty good. And it has very good battery life, etc. But what's the real world use? What I love doing about these videos, and actually my most popular videos are usually on the tablets, because these are fast becoming our most useful devices, especially at home, because we can watch these in the comfort of our own home on a giant screen panel that just looks so good, but it's extremely transportable and very, very light. And obviously, one of my most popular videos was the Lenovo M10 and M11 videos. I'll put links to them above here. They were really, really popular, really well received, and people seem to be loving Lenovo. And I get it, I really do. But why would you consider this one perhaps over, let's say, an iPad, one of the larger iPads, iPad Air, iPad Pro, aside from the money side of things? Because this tablet has a number of things going for it that allow you to do that little bit more than what you can do with, let's say, an iPad or other more budget or other competitive tablets. So the budget we're talking about here with this device is we're talking around 330 euros. Now, it's been out for about a year. It's coming up to an annual anniversary. And I just couldn't help but get this one because I had so many comments about how good the Lenovo tabs are and to try and compare the larger ones with the smaller ones. So the smaller, more average size 13-inch, 11-inch tablets are very good, and they come in at around 200. This device, being 12.7, is a behemoth. You can obviously see the panel is very, very big. It looks really, really nice. It's got some definite weaknesses, which actually surprised me in relation to the smaller tablets that I use, which felt a little bit more premium in certain software aspects. But first of all, let's take a little look around the device. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down there. So what I do like about the layout is that they have put the volume rockers on. It's meant to be held basically in a landscape position first and foremost. So you're not really meant to hold it so much in an upright or portrait position. It's meant to be in landscape because of course that's where you get most amount of real estate. Now on the top therefore, when you do hold it, you've got the camera, the forward-facing camera facing you right in the middle of the bezel, which is what you want. And then you've got the volume rockers on the top there, which is really, really good. Very easy to get to and helps to differentiate between the fingerprint sensor and power button, which is then on the left side. Now the fingerprint sensor is very good. It does work every time. It's relatively quick. It's not the best in fairness actually, because I find that it's a little bit hit and miss. It gets about 85% of the time, which is actually quite surprising. And there is no face unlock either, which is a little bit frustrating. But there is obviously on screen and the fingerprint reader. But it's about 80%. So it's not quite as sensitive as some of the flagships and actually some of the other Lenovo tablets as well. But it is acceptable. Then walking around, we've got a speaker grill, of course. So we've got the speaker grills here. And of course it is a quad setup. So we've got them on the left and the right side. In between on the left side, we've actually got a SIM tray or what is a memory expander. So we can go up to 1 terabyte. This one comes with 128 gigabytes of memory. So it's the base model with 8 gigs of RAM. And where I've actually seen that affected is with multiple apps. And there are a couple of glitches as well that I'll get to in a little bit. Then we've got very thin bezels as we work around, but what I do like is that the bezels are symmetrical. So you can see that the bezels on the left and right side are very much similar to the top and the bottom, which does make a big difference. And I think that helps a lot in terms of holding it, which way, orientation doesn't really matter if you're holding it upside down, sideways, or frontways. It isn't going to make a difference. And that is a big deal, especially if this is your media consumption device. Then of course on the back side we have got the cameras, which actually even has an LED flash. I don't know why you'd want to use that, but the camera is okay. And it is a 8 megapixel camera on the reverse side, and it is a 13 megapixel camera on the front facing one. So obviously there is more designation towards doing selfie video and photos if you want to. And of course I'll include some comparisons of those as well. But it generally is a very nice large glass panel on the front here, and on the reverse it's got this two-tone effect that you can see there in the light. That's quite nice. And what comes in the box? The pen. Amazingly, inside the box itself, you get the stylus. So you can snap that onto the back side there and it stays really, really well. It's very well magnetized and works very nicely to sit there as well, but it doesn't charge it, okay? That's important. It doesn't charge the device when it's attached to your tablet. So there is a USB port here on the pen, so you have to plug this in. But I've literally had it for 10 days. I've used the pen on and off, the stylus on and off, and it's gone down by about 20%, 25%. So this will last you plenty of time. Obviously, the more you use it, the more battery it will be. But the charging process, because this was actually pretty much dead when I got it, it charged up in about 30 minutes. So it was very quick, and it's been lasting me nearly 10 days, and I'm still at the majority, or well over 50% on the stylus, so no problem there. So what does the stylus allow you to do? When you first switch it on, it actually syncs with the tablet, and it does use Bluetooth. So there is a factor in that you're going to be using a little bit of energy via Bluetooth in order to utilize this, and you get a little symbol as well for the pen icons that you can use this for. And there are some built-in apps as well that specifically use the write or the handwrite recognition software so that it then converts it into text, which is really cool. And again, one of the questions I got from some of the other Lenovo pads that was stylus compatible. This has it built in, so you can convert handwriting to text, which is very, very cool function. I like that a lot. Now, let's go into a little bit of the software. So the software side of things is okay. Again, you've got this dual aspect in relation to Lenovo tablets, which is that you have Android, of course. So it is running Android 14 on here. So I'm using the operating system, which is titled i6, which is the Lenovo software system that allows you to interact with the tablet. And it has updated twice since I've actually had it. And indeed, it's gone all the way up to Android 14 as well. So it is running the latest Android system, and it's also got the latest security updates as well. So that is really good. The support there has been excellent, so I'm quite pleased with that. Now, the software, in addition to that, it has some tweaks to Android. In particular, it has something called PC mode. Now, PC mode becomes activated if you have a third-party keyboard associated to the device. So you can toggle whether or not you want it to activate as soon as you connect the keyboard to your tablet or not. So obviously you can use the tablet in PC mode where it's much more like a desktop setup, or you can use it just like you would any normal tablet. Now, in terms of software, it has been a little bit glitchy. So it reacts when you pick it up. So when you do pick up the device, it starts to activate and you hear the ping of emails coming in, which is quite good. But I found that it's a little bit jumpy and has got stuck in some apps glitching and crashing. That's happened more on this device than it did with any other Lenovo. And I don't know whether that's a software issue. It is running the Dimensity CPU on it, which is not necessarily the most powerful chip that you could get. And that could be what's contributing towards these glitches, which is a little bit unfortunate. The other major issue I actually have had with this is connectivity. So I connected this to my normal 2.4G network when setting it up. And it was very slow actually to install and set up. I then connected it to my 5G network, both in Wi-Fi, and it was completely different. Much faster, much more as I would expect it to do. But it wasn't because my internet speeds are slow. It was that for some reason, the 2.4G, which is the normal connection, wasn't very good at all, wasn't downloading at the speed I would expect. But when connected to the 5G Wi-Fi, then it was much, much faster and far more responsive. Now, 5G is always a good way to go because we know the downloads and uploads are very fast, but we also know that the signal is much weaker. So if you move away from the router, that's when you start to see slowdown. However, with this device, it has improved as I've updated and as well switched it on and off. And when I do that, I have noticed that the connectivity has improved. But there definitely is an issue when connecting to the slower speed but more stable Wi-Fi networks. I don't know what that is, but that is definitely something I've experienced on this tablet. Now, talking about the panel. Now, this is an IPS LCD panel. It is very rich and very saturated. I do love very deep colors in tablets, and it does make the viewing experience extremely good. However, it is IPS, so it's not going to be the absolute best. It's not going to have the darkest darks or blacks, and it's not going to have the most vibrant colors. But I think Lenovo have done very, very well to make this as vibrant as it can be, which is really, really lovely to view and is why you're going to enjoy using it for media consumption, watching videos, looking at your photos, etc. All of that stuff is going to work really, really nicely. Again, one of the negative side of things is that it does come pre-installed with quite a lot of apps. So for example, it's got booking.com in there. I don't want booking.com. I didn't install it myself, so I'm going to delete that right now. So that will come out. It also comes pre-installed with a lot of games that are very ad-centric. So they've got a lot of ads in there, and they're just distracting. The games are okay. You've got ones like Block Puzzle, you've got Find 5 Difference. They're not very good, and I was a bit disappointed by that. You've got Slinky Snake as well, which is quite addictive, but they're pre-installed. You can delete them, which is the best part of it. So of course you are at liberty to get rid of them if you wish. So it's not the end of the world, but it is a bit annoying when they come pre-installed with this kind of rubbish. So you just want to get rid of those straight away. Now, in terms of real world use, in terms of it being handheld, again, because of the weight of it and the size, this is a big device, you're going to get very tired holding it in one hand. It can be very slippery, not as slippery as some of the others I've tested, but it can get slippery in the hand. I would definitely recommend a case. I bought a third-party aftermarket case, which is actually very, very good. And it also has a compartment for the stylus to be housed as well. You can have the stylus on the back side with the case on, or you can tuck it away into a separate section. So, because of course, being there, it could easily fall off. This case I'll put a link to in the description below, and I really like this case. It has been very well protected by it, and I highly recommend getting a case. It also means you can prop it up and have it stood in front of you, because again, you're not going to want to lean this on anything because it's going to slide off and probably smash. So you don't want that happening whatsoever. So definitely a third-party case is a good idea, or a Lenovo one as well. Now, in terms of holding it, like I say, it's quite weighty, so it is difficult to hold, but it's very, very comfortable to view. The viewing angles are okay. Again, you look off angle, you're going to start to lose visuals as you look from the side. But again, one of the biggest issues that now is being dealt with by the likes of Samsung is reflections. And this bad boy, again, is super duper reflective. You can see all kinds of things happening in the background, which make it quite difficult to see at the best of times. And if you're in a very bright space, let's say you're outdoors, then it is going to be difficult to see with the level of reflections and the brightness that it can go to. Maximum nits is 400, which is acceptable, particularly indoors, but outdoors in bright sunlight, you're gonna struggle quite a bit to see this, but you're not likely to use it outdoors quite so much. But I have tested it out. It's bearable if you're in a shaded area. If you're in direct sunlight, you're gonna struggle quite a lot. One of the redeeming factors that it does have is that it's got just over a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, which is good. I'm not gonna say excellent, because I've been surprised to learn that over time it does use a bit of battery. So the standby mode hasn't been quite as good as I would expect for Android 14, which has got a lot better as it's progressed. Something is happening with the Lenovo, that it's doing stuff in the background, because I can leave it for one day overnight and I'll come back to it and it's lost maybe 10% overnight, which is very rare. It doesn't normally do that if you've got a screen protector or you've got a cover on it and the screen is off. So what I've started doing is scheduling off time so that it goes off and then it goes on again, and that does seem to have made an improvement. But I'm going to switch those off and then test out exactly how well it lasts by being left on into sleep and standby mode. But I've been surprised at how quickly the battery has drained, despite having a very large battery. There does appear to need to be some optimizations made to improve the battery life a little bit. Okay, so that is the Lenovo Tab P12 device here. It is a behemoth, it's a big tablet, it's a good tablet. If you can get it for sub 300 euros, it's an absolute bargain. It really is a really good device for that sort of money. If you're looking for gaming, it's going to be basic gaming, it's going to look good, it's going to work just fine. If you're looking for some basic desktop functionality because it has a PC mode built in, it's going to be okay. I would recommend this device as it is very, very large in size and looks great for entertainment and so on. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you put a comment below if you agree or disagree with any of my comments. And of course, you'll find links to the product in the description below. If you would like to support my channel, I would really appreciate it because we are now doing a Buy Me a Coffee sponsorship system, and we're going to be doing competitions as well in order for you to start winning some of these devices. This channel is still very much sponsored by me, and I have no external sponsorships, and I do not get any freebies whatsoever as yet. So I am funding all of this, and your support will basically help the channel grow even faster if you're happy to do that. Would really appreciate it if you could do that, and I'll put links to this information in the description below. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye for now.